today I'm going to show you my barbecue technique. I even have a live studio audience here because I don't want to get on camera. Anyway, so get my Weber barbecue. And I get my charcoal chimney. And put a little, what is this, wrapping paper? An old wrapping paper. Or newspaper, anything you want to use, and put it in the bottom. Turn that over. Go get some charcoal. Fill that up. And today we're going to be making barbecued ribs. Next thing we're going to do is light the fire. So to get a match, just light that gift wrapping paper down there. It's going to burn like a wild forest fire. When you barbecue, make sure you have a couple of ice cold adult beverages handy to wait out the time while the coals get hot. And by the way, our beverage of choice today is the Firestone Pale Ale. It's a nice, it starts off smooth, it gives you a nice hoppy taste about right in the middle of your sip. It's a good beer for sitting out on the patio. Letty thinks it's a little too bitter, but I think it's a pretty good beer. Letty's brining the stuff we're going to cook today, which are country pork ribs. And what she did is just took some leftover turkey brine from Christmas and just been letting the ribs sit in there for a couple hours. We usually use a homemade barbecue sauce, but we thought we had some today, but we ran out, so we're just going to have a couple dipping sauces, maybe some KC Masterpiece and some of this fresh and easy Thai peanut sauce. And we'll be throwing those on the grill in just a minute. We'll take them out of the brine, just put a little salt and pepper on them and throw them on that hot grill. It's not going to be long now. Those coals are just starting to glow down there on the bottom. Maybe another 5 minutes. And some of you have emailed me and asked me how I do the vegetables on the barbecue. So I'm going to show you how we do that. First, get yourself a sheet of foil, lay it here. And this year we've had a lot of zucchinis and a few carrots growing in our garden, so I went ahead and chopped some of those up here. This is going to be the side dish for our ribs tonight. So just kind of put them on the foil, spread them out a little bit. This is real easy to do. Get everything out, everybody in the pool. Next, we take a little kosher salt and just kind of sprinkle that over everything here. This will help flavor it and help pull those juices out as we cook. Okay. One more flavor component we're going to use today is a little ground up pepper here. Okay, so my chubby fingers don't fit in this bottle so well, but just grab a little pinchful between your fingers here and sprinkle on. Okay. Once you have the salt and pepper, you just basically fold up the corners, and you're just going to fold this up loosely. You don't want it to be airtight. You want to have some holes in it so that the smoke can get in and kind of help flavor your vegetables too. That's it. You just throw this little package right on top of the grill the whole time you're cooking. Okay, the coals are ready. And we just take our little thingies, dump them out right there. Set that off to the side where it's not going to burn anything. And my trick to barbecuing is to have all the coals over on one side. So I'm trying to just kind of get them all into an even level here. They're all going to be on this side of the grill. Okay? We're going to throw our grate up on top of that and let that heat up just a minute there. Now that we've let the grill sit on here for a couple minutes and get real hot, we're going to clean it with this wire brush. I like to clean at the beginning of each barbecue session instead of the end of it because the heat will melt all the previous fat on there. I'm going to turn that around. and then it's going to be easy just to scrape off with this wire brush. There we go. Next we're going to throw our vegetable packet on here. Let these guys cook. And put them not on top of the coals, just over here on the other side, because once we cook this, all that heat's going to come around. And the reason we put the coals on one side is what we're going to do is we're going to sear the meat for 2 minutes on each side over here where it's really hot. Once they're seared, we're going to move them over here to the indirect heat and then just cook for about maybe 8 minutes on each side, or kind of thick cuts depending on the cut of your meat, how thick it is. You move it over here, maybe anywhere between 4 and 10 minutes per side, and we'll put the lid on to cover it, and it'll hold that heat in there just the right temperature and cook everything right there. Alright, so now it's time for the main event. The meat is going on the grill here. These are just your basic country style ribs, boneless pork ribs. You can find these on sale at your local grocery store for about $2-3 a pound sometimes. It's a cheap cut of meat, but it's fun to barbecue. Boy, that one almost went down. Okay, so now we're going to sear this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. We're just going to kind of want to watch for flare-ups and keep the meat from getting too cooked over the open fire. And we've got a little flare-up happening right here. If we had a squirt gun, we'd squirt on that a little bit. But for now, we'll just kind of move this piece of meat kind of just away from the open part of the flame. Okay, it's been 3 minutes, so now we're going to turn these over and sear on the other side. Okay, our searing is done. Now we're going to move the meat over to the other side of the grill, and we're going to go ahead and let this cook for 10 minutes per side. Okay, so flip it as we move it over. And once we put the lid on, this is going to bring the heat down, so it's kind of a slow cooking method. That's why we're going to do 10 minutes on each side. If this were something other than pork, maybe a little less time. For a steak, you might do 6 minutes a side for an inch thick steak. Okay, but pork we're going to do 10 minutes. Did you want to put garlic on? So Letty's going to brush these now with some garlic to give it a little bit more flavor. And she's just using the minced garlic that you get at the store. Okay, and now we're just going to cover and let them cook. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes on each side. It's time to take out our food. Let's take a look. You can see the pork is nice and pink. It looks kind of juicy there, especially the fatty ends. And we're just going to pop this out here. We got a nice fatty piece there. Take our veggies, and we'll take this inside and we're going to eat it. Okay, now we're going to plate this up. And what we've done, we've had it resting under foil for about 5 minutes just to kind of rest it and let the meat finish cooking. And we're going to take a chop out here. And then we'll take our veggies, which is sitting here in this foil. We'll take out a few of those and put it on the side. And then, what kind of sauce do we want? Let's start off with a little barbecue sauce. I do wish we had a homemade barbecue sauce, but we'll have to do with the KC Masterpiece here. I'll pour a little bit of that on here. Another thing I like to do with my veggies in here is I'll take one of our tomatoes that we grew in the garden, slice off the blemishes. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop up this tomato and sprinkle some of the chunks up on top of the veggies here. And then I'm going to take some feta cheese. Just sort of crumble that up a little bit up on top of that. Okay. And there we go. Now ready to eat. Barbecued pork ribs with a vegetable medley on the side.